Welcome to Shom Achshav on the Daf. Shir sponsor Lui Nishmas Rabbi Yaakov Shalom Lampas Yitzchok. We're holding over the Zara Daf Hey. The Gemara in Udalef says, Rish Lakish says, Bo v'nachzik toivo lavuseinu. We need to have hakaras atoiv to our fathers. Shil maleim lo yichatu. That if they didn't do the chait, that if they would not sin in chait ha'egel, anu loy banu loylam, you would not come to the world. And the Gemara in the beginning in the stands means that if they would not sin and there would be no gzeras miso, so then they would not have children. So we have to thank our parents for the fact they did a chait and they had children and we're coming to the world. So Tosfos asks, the Gemara in Eruvin concludes that it's better not to be born than to be born. It's better to stay up in Shemayim. So why do we have to be so thankful to our parents that brought us to the world if it's better not to be born? So the first you answer this in different ways. The Maharal tells us that, correct, it's better not to be born than to be born. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu does want us to be born. The Ratzon Hashem is that human beings will be in this world. And this is the Mishnah in Avos Perek Beis. It says, Aseh ritzonoi kirtzonecha. Meaning for us, personally, we think that it's better not to be in this world. It's better to be up there in Shemayim. But if HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a chayfetz that people should be born, meaning that people should come to the world and be oiv de Hashem in this world, that's His Ratzon. So we're mevatel our will, or what we think is better, klapi the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the Ayimek Hadavar is that we know that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, that's the best thing that the world needs. That's the best thing for us as well. So even though al panav, the way it looks on the surface, is the mutav l'adam shaloi nivra mishenivra, it's better not to be born than to be born. But if Ratzon Hashem is that we should come to the world, that is what our Ratzon is as well. And therefore we need to have a hakaras atoiv to our parents that brought us to the place that we could fulfill Ratzon Hashem. And the Sefer Avoda of Shlomo Klugo, here in this Masechta, he brings another answer. He says, of course, the idea of mutalo shalodum shaloi nivra mishnivro is if the process of being born did not begin. But when the Gemara in this stage is talking about that the neshamas, our neshamas were already created. Why? So he says that the neshamas were created in the beginning of the Bria. Even though Adam Harishon did not come to the world until Yom Hashishi, the sixth day of the Bria, but the neshamas were created before. And that's what the Gemara is going to speak about. The neshamas that are in the guf, there's neshamas that need to come to the world. Every neshama of a yid, it does not come to his full fruition until it doesn't connect to a guf and becomes neshama of a guf together. Once the neshama was born, meaning was ne'etzal mikvot kodsha v'HaKadosh Baruch Hu, comes out here, the neshama. So the neshama cannot really fulfill its goal, its mission in the world until it connects to a guf and does the avodah of neshama and guf together. So what the Gemara in Eruvin says, it's better for a person not to be created, not to start the process at all. But once there's a neshama in the world, so in order for that neshama to fulfill its fruition, it must connect to a guf. So now we have to have a hakaras atoiv to our parents that brought us to that fulfillment of the fruition. And this connects beautifully to the next part of the Gemara with another pshat. Because the conclusion of the Gemara is that people would be born, even if our parents would not do a chet. Hi, so what does it mean? What does Rish Lakish mean? Anu kimi banu loylam. We, if our parents were real alive, if we could have over here all the duros akoidmim, so then anu kimi banu loylam anu eina noch nechshavnu klum. Or we not. What is our value if you have all the duros rishonim? And the pasuk pshat on this is that there will be no covet for somebody for our generation if you would have here the generation of the Dura Midbar, the generation of the Tanoim, Amoraim, etc. But that's very hard to understand. So we're saying, let's say shakayach, let's thank our avos for doing a sin, so we get a little covet, so people, we have something, we have a chashivas. That the chur cannot be the pshat. So the Ein Eliyahu on the Ein Yaakov, he says, the pshat is very similar to what we just learned now from the Avoda. The only way a neshama fulfills its fruition, it's if it comes down to the world into the guf. And the guf, the definition of the guf is that it's a very gashmi, very physical, materialistic item called the body. And when the neshama connects to this body and elevates it, now it fulfills its obligation. But if the Rishonim would not sin, if it wouldn't have a chait, so the guf of the Doros Rishonim would be so pure. As the Gemara is going to tell us, at least according to one opinion, they would never die. Dying comes to a guf who needs to be purified. Im lo chatu, they would be at such a high level that the guf would be such a spiritual place. So the neshama would not fulfill its obligation to connect to the guf ha'achor, to the physical body. We would be considered like malachim. What would be the point in that, says the Ein Elio? So it's not that we're looking for some covet, but the obligation of an Adam to come and elevate something which is more physical would not be fulfilled if the original Deiris would not do the chait. And we'll just conclude with another pshat of the Tiferes Shloimeh, Miradomsk, in the Mavoi Techelik base, where he says that a lot of the godless of a neshama comes from the powers of previous generations. When a tzaddik dies, so his neshama goes back to Shemayim, and he gives power and koiches to a new neshama coming to the world. And that's what we have in the Gemara, the Zara Shemesh, Uba Shemesh, that as the tzaddik dies, a new tzaddik comes, because that's the ones that are dying giving powers and koiches to the new ones that are being born. So he says that's the pshat in the Gemara. Anu kimish leibanu lo'ilam. If the previous generation will now be nifter, so the new neshamas coming down, they will not have all the koichas of the previous generations. There will be a much slower and weaker neshamas. That's the hakaras hatov that we have to the previous generations. Anyone who wants to join the Shomachshava email list to Hotzago, please email shomachshava@gmail.com.